All right, can you guys hear me? How's my audio coming in? Hey Scott, how you doing? It's nice to see you. I never did get an email, by the way. The Chad Chaddington at protonmail.com. If you guys need to reach me for anything. Hey Natty Paws, how you doing? I'm glad you're here. Green Stash, glad you're here. Bobby, glad you're here. I wasn't gonna go live, guys, but I think I found something that really warrants it. I found a document that's actually future dated for December, which I thought was weird. And it's on official business application license. So I don't know how, I've never started a business. I don't know how that really works. So maybe they do future date things. I don't know, but I will show you that in a second. But basically what I was going to make a video on is 2025 and the response to COVID in general that we've been experiencing just seems very overzealous in reaction to something that, you know, they admit hasn't even killed 10,000 people apparently. So let me get rid of some of this stuff in the background. Hold on one second. Come on. Ooh. There we go. All right, no more of that stream stuff. All right. How's my audio? Is everything doing all right, guys? Before I get started, because I'm going to try to dive right into this. So, audio doing all right? All right, so let's get into it. So, what prompted me to do this actually, Bobby brought this to my attention. This is a document that I didn't know existed. It's from the World Bank. Let me see if I can bring this up. You guys are able to see that, right? And this is the World Bank's own website, documents1.worldbank.org. You can see right up here. And this document, other people have talked about this, and I'm not the first to bring it up by any means. But this document right here is called the COVID-19 Strategic Preparedness and Response Program, and it was dated the 2nd of April of this year. Now, when you scroll down to page 1, skip all the acronym familiarization, table of contents, and all that. All right, so you have the first page, which is the data sheet. Like I said, you have the 2nd of April, the date this article was, or this little thing was published, but you have a project close date of the 2025. Now, hold on, Bobby, it should try to clear up on you guys. It might just be the stream. See if you can try to increase the quality on your settings. For the little thing, it might be 720 or 1080 native, I don't know. I believe it's streaming in 720 though. But anyway, like I said, I'm not the first person to bring this up, but it does have a date of March 2025. That's when the project is set to end, so a 5-year date. What I did cover the other day was about how the Belarusian president, remember, this is a World Bank document, guys. The World Bank, right off their website. One of the things that I thought was weird is I made an article about how the Belarusian president refused a bribe from the World Bank and the IMF. It was off blacklistednews.com. You can get it right here if you haven't seen it. And they wanted him to impose lockdowns. They wanted him to basically crash the economy, put strict curfews in, make people wear masks and all this stuff. And they were going to give him 940 million US dollars, almost $1 billion, in the form of, quote, COVID relief aid. Let me see if that's any better for you. And this is actually what President Lukashenko said. So the World Bank, the very same people who have an end date set for 2025, are trying to basically bribe foreign presidents, which who knows? Who knows what leaders of what countries, you know what I mean? This is just one example. But they wanted him to do all this stuff to his people, and he said no. But this isn't what I was going to get into. I was just going to cover all this stuff. The main focus of what I wanted to get into, though, is this right here. This is something that you guys might not have seen, and I haven't seen a lot of coverage, but this was made in 2017. It's called the SPARS pandemic, and it's future dated for 2025, 2028. And it's called A Futuristic Scenario for Public Health Risk Communicators. And this was created by the Johns Hopkins Center for Health Security, which, if you know, they were also one of the main participants in Event 201. Let me see if I can bring this up. Can you guys see that right there? And yep, I will drop it right now in the chat. Hold on one second. Now, this document has been covered by CNN. So this document is not new. I personally haven't really seen anyone cover it, and this isn't what the smoking gun that I think I might have found is, by the way. It's in this document, but I'm going to get to that in a second. I just want to show you, CNN did cover this. It came out in 2017. They're referencing this document right here. In 2017, experts at the Johns Hopkins University, or the Johns Hopkins Center for Health Security, predicted a scenario similar to what's going on right now, but they predicted it for 2025. So this is a real document. Like I said, I have it off the Centers for Health Security's own website. I'm going to go scroll down. I think it's chapter 17. Yep, chapter 17. Let's see. Page 68, if you'd like to follow it along yourselves. And it's titled Vaccine Injury. Now, let me see. Now, remember, guys, this is a hypothetical scenario. This hasn't happened. Now, I'm going to read it to you. In contrast to Alyssa Karpowitz's story, not all changes in opinion were in favor of public health messaging. At times, sorry, I always do that. I think the sentence is going to end and then I continue. But as time passed and more people across the United States were vaccinated, remember, this is a future scenario for 2025 written in 2017 by the very same people who did Event 201 or 2 months before almost the first reported case in Wuhan for coronavirus of last year. So as time passed and more people across the United States were vaccinated, claims of adverse side effects began to emerge. Several parents claimed that their children were experiencing neurological symptoms similar to those seen among livestock exposed to the GMI vaccine. By May 2027, parental anxiety around this claim had intensified to the point of lawsuits. That month, a group of parents whose children developed mental retardation as a result of encephalitis in the wake of Coravax vaccination sued the federal government, demanding removal of the liability shield protecting the pharmaceutical companies responsible for developing and manufacturing Coravax. Now, keep in mind, obviously, this is a, future scenario, and apparently it didn't happen. You know what I mean? This is all 2027, right? But it was written in 2017. Now, what caught my attention, though, however, is this word right here, Coravax. This is a fictional company that made a fictional vaccine for a fictional pandemic in 2025. Okay? But it was written in 2017. Now, why is this Coravax of importance? Well, when I was doing research earlier, I came upon that name. I can't remember where I came upon it, but I read it, and I think it's because I typed in on Google, like, coronavirus vaccine, and I was trying to find out what was going on. Yeah, I'm a Muslim. What does it say in the chat? Chat is a Muslim, guys, beware. Yeah, I'm a Muslim, guys, if you weren't aware. So I'm not, by the way, I'm not Muslim. I identify as Christian. But anyway, that just threw me off because it was just dumb, unless it was a joke. But anyway, guys, yeah, you have Coravax, right? So what I did was I went to Google and I typed in Coravax, okay? Here's what I found. Coravax is a company, right? Coravax was created and incorporated on the 12th of March, 2020. This is in the United Kingdom, though, too. But Coravax Limited, right here, guys, the 12th of March, 2020. And then I thought to myself, I'm like, the 12th of March, that sounds familiar. Isn't that when Trump signed the proclamation? And I'm like, nope, it wasn't. It was the day before Trump signed the proclamation declaring a national emergency concerning the novel coronavirus disease. See if I can. So this company, CoroVax, which was named as a fictional company delivering a fictional vaccine for a fictional pandemic in 2025, written in 2017, became a real business in the United Kingdom the day before Trump announced a declaration of national emergency concerning coronavirus. Okay, so that seems weird, right? But also, check this out. When I went to the CoroVax filing history, and you can actually go to the PDF that it brings up, check this out. Okay, so remember before when I was talking about that future dated document, right? I don't know if there's anyone still in the chat. I don't see anybody. But yeah, this document right here, I'm not aware of business filings and how they work, so I could be wrong. But this is the PDF that loads up right from the CoroVax Limited's application for business incorporation. Okay, Green Stash, you guys are here. All right. So this is what I think might be a smoking gun. I don't know. It's a file copy of their certificate of incorporation for a private limited company. Remember, CoroVax, the fictional company that existed for a fictional vaccine for a fictional pandemic in 2025, is actually a real company that was incorporated the day before Trump declared a national emergency over coronavirus. But the weird thing is, when I scroll all the way to the bottom, this is 8 pages. When was this signed? It says it's dated 12/3/2020. How can it be dated in the future? Does anyone understand how these business licenses work? Is that when it takes effect, or is that when it was supposedly supposed to be signed? Apparently, Stephen Hunt, Van Greaves, Angus Dagelson, whatever these guys' names are, they authenticated electronically their signatures December 3rd of this year. Does anyone understand how this can be a possible thing? Does anyone else find that weird that this company, CoroVax, was incorporated the day before Trump declared a national emergency for COVID-19? And keep in mind, CoroVax is a fictional company delivering a fictional vaccine for a fictional pandemic in 2025, written by the Johns Hopkins Center for Health Security, the very same people who also did another simulation 6 weeks before the first reported case of coronavirus. Look at the dates of the CARE Act. Yeah, I saw that. Bobby, are you saying that March 12 is when it takes effect? Because look at this, guys. This is a fictional company, CoroVax, giving a fictional vaccine. And people are getting angry in this scenario in 2027, that hasn't happened, wanting to sue CoroVax. But then this company, which was fictional in this scenario in 2017, became a real company incorporated in the United Kingdom the day before Trump declared a national emergency concerning coronavirus, the 13th of March. This was incorporated the 12th. And when you go to their own website and you click the application for the business incorporation, it was signed December 3rd of this year, months from now. How is that possible? Am I wrong? Am I misinterpreting this? Anyone else find it weird that there's a company named CoroVax, named after the fictional company who developed a vaccine in a fictional scenario for a fictional pandemic? Does anyone else think this is weird? Bobby, 12/3 is 312 backwards. You're right. I don't know if this is a smoking gun. I haven't seen anyone else cover this. I actually came across this on accident. I was making a video and I was planning to do this whole thing, go through 2025 and why I find that significant, which I'm going to give you another reason why I find that significant. And one of the reasons that actually made me do the video instead of the World Bank document. But most of you are probably familiar with the Daigle.com population forecast for 2025, which was put out in 2017. Coincidentally, the same year, this fictional SPARS pandemic was written by the Economic Center for Health Security, Johns Hopkins Economics. This is Daigle.com, by the way. If you guys aren't familiar with this site has been verified as authentically being used by intelligence agency, specifically Stratfor, which operates out of Texas. That was verified in a WikiLeaks email that got out for a report on the People's Republic of North Korea. They use Daigle.com as a source. It's used by the CIA, the NSA, all these other groups, allegedly, especially the DIA too, I think. The name is odd, but the firm isn't future dated. No, Bobby, I'm saying why does it say it was dated the 3rd of December this year? Am I reading that wrong? Because that's what it says right here. I just don't know why it would say that. Does that mean when it takes effect? Do you know what I mean? But anyway, this is a report from Daigle in 2017, the same year that fictional thing, I guess, came out, that scenario. But they say there's about 327 million people currently when this was written in 2017. But they forecast there will only be 100 million people in the United States by 2025. There's that year again, 2025. Why? They don't explain. I'm not saying these people will all definitely be dead. There could be other reasons. There could be things like emigration, which is not people coming into the country, but the opposite, people leaving. Maybe the economy collapses. Maybe something happens to where people are leaving the United States in millions, hundreds of millions. Or about 250 million people are estimated to die by 2025. I find that weird. If you're not familiar with this Daigle.com report, look into it. It's real. This isn't fake. Hold on, Bobby, what'd you say? Is it a royal charted pick? No, they do dates with day first, then month. Yeah, what I'm saying though is even then, when you go to the CoreVax Limited incorporation for the United Kingdom, and then you go to their PDF for their application of their business license or incorporation license. Let me see. Hold on, sorry guys, I'm working with two different screens and I'm trying to stretch my head. Okay. When you go up to the top, this is what it looks like. You got that royal crest of arms, whatever that is. Let me see if I can zoom in more. Deu et mon droit. I don't know what that means. All right. I did take 4 years of Latin in high school, but I was definitely not paying attention. It was one of those easy A classes. I do know some things, but this is the photo. Hold on, someone's calling me. Don't want that interrupting. All right, hold on one sec. Let me check the chat out. It is a royal chartered pick. Oh, I bet it's Luciferian. It could be. I mean, all these people at the end of the day seem to be satanic scum. But like I said, this is the certificate of incorporation of a private limited company, like I said, for CoreVax Limited, which is a fictional company named in a 2017 fictional scenario where they would be delivering a vaccine that damages people for a pandemic influenza, which hasn't happened yet, which happened in 2025, allegedly. But this company was created and incorporated the day before Trump declared a national emergency for coronavirus. It was the 13th he did that. This was the 12th. So like I said, guys, when you scroll down, it was incorporated the 12th of March, 2020, right? That means that was issued by a member of the Royal Parliament and it will never be audited. I don't know. I don't know enough about that stuff, guys. I don't know if I found a smoking gun. I feel like this could be, though. You know what I mean? Like, this is a legitimate document. And look these people up. I don't know. Here's the address. 3 Queen Street, Ashford, England. And then you scroll down and I'll see if I can find the names. Mr. Angus Dalgleish. Does anyone know who that is or ever heard that name before? Angus Dalgleish, company director. He's British. Let's see. Stephen Hunt. Anyone know who that is? Immuner AS. Van Greaves. Let's see. I confirm the requirements of the Companies Act 2006 as to registration have been complied with, and these are the names of the people. Authorization, okay. And then you scroll down and it says each subscriber to this memorandum of association wishes to form a company under the Companies Act of 2006 and agrees to become a member of the company and take at least one share, dated 12/3/2020. I don't know, guys. How can that be future dated? That doesn't make any sense to me. And like I said, this company in and of itself is named after a fictional company who gave a fictional vaccine in a scenario that hasn't happened yet. But that's so weird. Does anyone else think this is weird? Did I find something I wasn't supposed to find? Or is this something that can be explained? Like I said, guys, read this right here. This is a fictional scenario, right? The SPARS pandemic, 2025 to 2028. This was written in 2017, a futuristic scenario for public health risk communicators by the very same people who brought you Event 201 6 weeks before the first reported case. Scroll down to Chapter 17. If I can find it again. Here we go. Chapter 17, Vaccine Injury. It talks about a situation in 2027 where a company named CoreVax gives a vaccination to people that cause mental retardation. Does anyone think this is weird? I don't know. I'm reminding you of memory hold. I did learn from the best. I have been following him for a few years. He's a really good guy. Does awesome live streams. He's way better than I am, in my opinion, though. But yeah, Titus Frost too. I love that guy. Those guys definitely can do live streams. I'm new to all this. I wasn't even going to go live, honestly, but I found that when I was doing this research. I was like an hour into making the video, and then I'm like, no one's going to watch an hour anyway. And I was actually getting ready to wrap it up, and then I saw that, and I'm like, whoa. And it just took me back. But yeah, guys, CoreVax is a fictional company that gave a fictional vaccine for a fictional influenza pandemic, which happened in 2025. That month, a group of parents whose children developed mental retardation as a result of encephalitis in the wake of a CoreVax vaccination sued the federal government, demanding removal of the liability shield protecting the pharmaceutical companies responsible for developing and manufacturing CoreVax. CoreVax became a real company the day before Trump declared a national emergency concerning the coronavirus pandemic the day before. So this company, which is named after a fictional company, which gives a fictional vaccine, anyone else find that weird? And the nature of the business is manufacture of basic pharmaceutical products and research and experimental development of biotechnology. And like I said, guys, if you go to their own application, it's future dated and signed for the 3rd of December. That's weird. And like I said, this is a legitimate document scenario that was created by them in 2017, SPARS pandemic. CNN even confirms it. In 2017, a team of experts at the Johns Hopkins Center for Health Security published a scenario as part of a training exercise that they believed could happen in the not so distant future. The very same people who also brought you Event 201. FRCP, hold on, Natty, pause, I'm going to read that. It's so weird, but it's not future dated because 12/3 is March 3/20 in British parlance. How do you mean? Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. So you're saying that they just reversed the March and the date. Okay, you could be right. That is a valid explanation, and that would take care of it. But I still find it weird that they named it CoreVax after a fictional company for a fictional vaccine that was delivered. But yeah, the 312, okay, that could be totally explained with that. That sounds right. I could be wrong about that. I hope I'm wrong, because what I said makes no sense. So, but it's still, anyone else find it weird that CoreVax thing is named after a fictional company that did a fictional pandemic? Like I said, whoops, I gotta go back to it. I skipped past it. Like I said, Chapter 17, Vaccine Injury. CoreVax vaccination sued the federal government, demanding a removal of the liability shield protecting pharmaceutical companies responsible for developing and manufacturing CoreVax. And CoreVax is a company that doesn't exist until March 12th, the day before Trump declares a national emergency for coronavirus. That's so weird. I guess I was wrong about the future dated thing, but I still find this document just to be weird, because why would you name a company that after a fictional company? IG Clue. I don't know, guys. Is that weird? Does anyone else think this is weird? The day before, you got that Daigle report reporting 100 million people as the population left in the United States in 2025. Where's the other 250 million? And like I was talking to someone else about the Georgia Guidestones, they want to keep population under 500 million. We're well over 500 million, guys. The fictional company isn't featured favorably in the doc. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's weird. Like, why would you name your company after something that is basically responsible for making kids retarded in a fictional scenario? I mean, and just calling it CoroVax is weird enough in 2017 for an influenza pandemic that you simulated happening in 2025. The very same people who also simulated Event 201 6 weeks before. And you have the World Bank document saying that the program for COVID-19 response from them is going to end in 2025. That's weird. You have the Belarusian president Lukashenko coming out and saying that the very same people who predict it's going to take 5 years to end this program were also offering him bribes in the form of COVID relief aid to crash his economy, impose a police state, put his people under martial law, essentially. CoroVax. I just find it weird, guys. This is so weird. I don't know. Like, and like Deborah Tavares says, the CDC is listed on Dun & Bradstreet. It's a private corporation. I believe it was incorporated in 1949, if I'm not mistaken. But the CDC is not for us. It gets its funding from from our tax dollars, but also from vaccine producers. Let me see. Yeah, so you guys check it out. And she says this all the time, too. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, Atlanta, Georgia. And Dun & Bradstreet is a list of, like, a bunch of businesses and corporations. Let's see if I can find it. I don't know where to really look on this. Thank you, Ludrem. I appreciate you stopping in. I really do. Yeah, get back to work. It's more important than what I'm doing anyway, obviously. But yeah, guys, isn't this just weird? I mean, the CDC is a corporation. The name really says it all. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the lead federal agency for protecting health and safety in U.S. citizens. The CDC investigates health problems, performs research, and develops public health policies. It also develops and applies disease prevention and control, vaccines. Let's see. Dun & Bradstreet provides data for over 120 million companies like Center for Disease Control and Prevention around the world. That's weird, huh? But yeah, guys, they predict that many people being dead by 2025. 2025 seems to be popping up over and over and over and over and over. Also, did you know that the United Nations, I want to say, director came out and said, oh yeah, by the way, we could go through a 5 to 7 year depression because of this pandemic. Let me bring it up for you right here, actually. So you got the head of the UN. This is an article entitled Global Wake Up Call. COVID-19 response, right off the UN's own website. I believe this was published July 19th or June 19th, one of the two. And basically this document goes on to detail, this was the Secretary General Antonio Gutierrez, by the way. It goes on to detail how we have about two possibilities, one's good, one's not. Here, I'll read this one. First, the optimistic possibility. In this case, the world would muddle through. Countries in the global north would experience would engineer a successful exit strategy. Developing countries would receive enough support, and their demographic characteristics, namely the youth or their people, would help maintain or help contain the impact. And then perhaps a vaccine could appear in the next 9 months or so and would be distributed as a global public good, a, quote, people's vaccine available and accessible to all. If this happens and if the economy starts up progressively, we might move towards some kind of normality in 2 or 3 years. But there's the second bleaker scenario in which countries fail to coordinate their actions. Coordinate their actions as in form a one world government. New waves of the virus keep coming. The situation in the developing world explodes, work on the vaccine lags, or even if there is a vaccine relatively soon, it becomes a subject of fierce competition, and countries with greater economic power gain access to it first, leaving others behind. That's the narrative that they're trying to push. Like, oh, Russia has it, and but we have to give it to our people. It's like, no, I'm not taking it. I don't care who tells me to take it. I don't care if it's Putin. I don't care if Trump comes to my door and kisses my feet personally and delivers it on a silk pillow. I'm not taking it. I'm not taking it from anybody, period. Not even if the hottest chick in the world said, if you take this right now, I will do anything you want. I'd be like, nah, I'm good. In fact, you take it and I'll just watch what happens. But it says, the results may well be a global depression that could last at least 5 or 7 years. 5 to 7 years. This was written in 2020. You keep getting that 2025, 2027 area time frame before a new normal emerges. New normal. All this Orwellian doublespeak and just all these things they're trying to program into your brain. The world is different. This is a post-COVID world we're thinking about. This is a new normal. No, nothing has changed. The only thing that's changed is your perception because it's been altered purposefully. The world has not changed. It's not different. There is no new disease that's going to wipe everything out. It's about control. It is difficult to know if we are moving in one direction or the other. We must work for the best and prepare for the worst. The pandemic, as horrible as it is, must be a wake-up call that prompts all political leaders to understand that our assumptions and approaches have to change and that division is a danger to everyone. Yeah, having borders and having nation states is a danger, so they want to create one government, one world. This understanding could lead people to recognize that the only way to address global fragilities is through much more robust mechanisms of global governance. They're telling you right in your face, guys. Solution to a pandemic which hasn't killed 10,000 people. Tuberculosis, I think, killed 1.4 million last year, right? Something like that. The CDC admits that 94% of the people who died from coronavirus had on average 2.6 comorbidities, including cancer, AIDS, renal failure, heart disease, you name it. And only about 9,800 people, give or take, died from the virus itself. But yet the solution is more global governance and a vaccine for 350 million people, right? Because the math adds up. I think it adds up. But yeah, guys, that's just... Look, the nature of which is impossible to predict. It seems pretty easy to predict when you guys are all giving a 2025 time frame for some reason. What is that? Why in 2025 would 250 million people be gone? Hegelian dialectic tactics. Yes. Problem, reaction, solution. Although I don't like to use Hegel's dialectic, I like to use order out of chaos more specifically because there's different... Hegel didn't just do one dialectic. People think that what he said was problem, reaction, solution. It's not exactly what he said, and there were different examples, and I'm not going to get into it, but I prefer saying order out of chaos. They create the chaos and then generate order from it. But there's more to the Hegelian dialectic than just what people commonly portray it to be. I don't say it's good either way, but it can be used for good essentially too, though. So it's one of those things. I say order out of chaos, but it's very true, guys. CoreVax. CoreVax is now a company in the United Kingdom, incorporated the day before Trump declared a national emergency concerning the novel coronavirus. I was wrong about the future dating thing. Okay, that makes sense. I'd rather, something not come from the future. That's more comforting, I guess. But like I said, they named it after a fictional company who gave a fictional vaccine for a fictional influenza pandemic in 2025. And it was called CoreVax. Looks like 98, but I'm no expert. I honestly what's the guy's name? Zach Hubbard that does the Gematria. He's had like 20 YouTube accounts because YouTube just deletes everything he does. That literally shows that he's onto something. I'm not saying I follow the guy. I can barely understand what he's talking about. When you get into that type of stuff, it's hard. Andrew Montague, I'm stupid. Okay, whatever. CDC never cured anything. They just make contagion agents more deadly. Seriously, I mean, if you're getting paid by people who develop vaccines for diseases, I mean, it's only in your best interest to make diseases more prevalent or more virulent, right? And that's assuming that the vaccines or that the diseases are real to begin with. Who knows? But yeah, guys, I find that weird. I find all of it weird. I find the fact that 2025 keeps seeming to pop up and everything. Like, here's another thing I found too. Let's see if I can pull that up. It's a thing called Rethink 2025. And it's another one of those things that's telling us we're going to be living in a post-COVID world, and we're going to have to redesign how people live and go through their daily lives based on it. But 2025, again, seems to be a centric theme in all these predictions. And who knows, maybe the goal is to get people under 500 million globally. Entries were asked to consider these 7 areas: healthcare spaces, high density living, public transport, all that stuff, basically. And this is what their designs are, some of them. So, like, see if I can make this a little bigger. Okay, that didn't really do much. But yeah, like, it sort of looks like Futurama, almost. Like, it looks like you got tubes traveling people places, but you got people, like, standing 6 feet apart, people dancing without touching. Like, they expect us, apparently, to, like, never touch another human being in, like, 5 years into the future? Is that what I'm supposed to interpret this as you will never, ever be able to stop social distancing? Because that's the impression I get. What about you? Does this looks fucking insane. Look at this party, guys. Man, looks like the 1920s in the future. Like, they put what are those people called, the flappers, and the people just dancing, you know. I don't know, stupid. The whole thing is stupid. But you know what I mean? 2025 seems to be a centric theme. Let me see if I can find another one. Here's a document that I brought up, actually, when I was in Bellagio's live chat a little while ago. And I just thought it was weird, again, because it brings up 2025. But it's about weather modification. And a lot of you are probably familiar right now with weather weapons, or at least you know they exist and you know that they're a thing. And it's, you know, you can go back to the Ho Chi Minh Trail being flooded in Operation Popeye, trying to get the Viet Cong out of their little tunnels and everything. But weather modification does exist. It is a real thing. That gematria guy gave me a headache. Yeah, I mean, it is, gematria is very confusing, at least for me. I mean, maybe I'm stupid, like, what's his face, Andrew Montague suggests, which is possible, because, I mean, if I was stupid, I wouldn't know I was stupid, right? But this is another 2025 year. It says weather as a force multiplier, owning the weather in 2025. And what are we seeing now, right? We're seeing possibly directed energy weapons being used to move people out of California, seeming to push them more east or more, you know, into the center of the United States. At least in my opinion, I think they're using directed energy weapons to do that. There was a guy, I think his name is A Plain Truth. I think YouTube deleted his channel and it's like A Plain Truth 5 now, but he does good reporting on that. Deborah Tavares does good reporting on that. I can't even talk today, guys. The Fullerton Informer does good reporting on that too. Richie from Boston does good reporting on that. But they can use weapons, weather weapons, to create floods, to create food shortages by, you know, destroying crops and things. Like the last couple of years, hasn't there been record flooding and crop damage never before seen? You know, and they can control the weather. And why do they want to have full control by 2025? Specifically 2025, right? But when I scroll down and I go, let's see. Trying to find that one thing I found earlier. If I can find it. Oh, why would we want to mess with the weather? I think that's it. Let's see. And then they give you an example. All right, guys. So these are the reasons they want to weaponize the weather and have full control of it, supposedly by 2025. We know that they use it now actively, and they have been using it for decades, going back at least to the 40s, experimenting after World War II when they took Nazi Germany's brightest young strapping bucks and brought them here and said, hey, all that other shit you did, we're going to forget it. We need you now to do horrible things. Operation Paperclip, if you're not familiar, 1947. So one of the goals was to degrade enemy forces, and they can create droughts. They can deny fresh water. They can disrupt communications, radar, disable, destroy space assets, deny concealment, increase vulnerability, decrease comfort level, morale, flood lines of communication. I mean, think about it, guys. If what they're telling you is true, which it is, and they're also trying to push that narrative that you have to beware that there's going to be an EMP attack possibly before the election or this winter, and that the people to look out for are China and Iran and all these other groups that have it out for us. No, they're just boogeymen. Their leaders are just as controlled as our leaders. But, you know, they have to have someone that they prop up as the continuous boogeyman. So what I'm saying is they're going to use things like controlled blackouts. They're going to use weather weapons. They're going to use vaccinations. They're going to use anything they can to kill as many people as they can and to migrate them into areas that they want them in. So that way they have a smaller population who's easier to control. All currency is digital. Everybody's chipped. Everything's managed. There's no possibility to fly under the radar. People will be living in giant megacities and pretty much picture, what was it, Orwell who said, boot stomping on the human face forever or something like that. But basically, if we don't try to stop this now and people don't wake up and realize that this has nothing to do with an actual virus, but has everything to do with control into population, that's the only way we're ever going to make it. So remember, guys, I'm going to try to end this stream now. But like I said, look up all this stuff. CoroVax, that's a weird company. It was incorporated the day before Trump issued the proclamation of national emergency due to a coronavirus outbreak. And this company is named after a fictional company in a fictional scenario for a fictional pandemic, for a fictional vaccine that injured fictional people. Very weird. Why would you name your company after that? So where did you get your degree in epidemiology? Andrew, that is neither here nor there because that is completely irrelevant to the information that I've presented. If you'd like to argue the information I've presented, be my guest. If you'd like to derail the conversation and add absolutely no value to it, you can do that as well. So what you're doing is you're just outing yourself as a shill. You have no purpose to achieve, and you just wish to derail conversation and discussion. So guys, you can go ahead, blow up his spot, go on his channel, do whatever, I don't care. If he's not going to actually argue the information I presented, then what he has to say is essentially useless. So look up the stuff that I said, guys. This stuff is not BS. This is, verifiable documents off World Bank's own website. So yeah, guys, I'm going to end this stream now. Andrew Montague, you can take your degree and you can cuddle with it tonight. I'm going to be with a woman, so, there's that. But you guys have a good night. I appreciate you stopping in. Look into this stuff for yourself, please. Do not believe everything you're told, even everything I told you now. Go research it yourself. Pull stuff up. If you got some leads, give me some leads. Send me stuff. Put it in the comments. Share information. Wake up as many people as you can, because that's the only way we're going to have a chance at stopping this. All right, guys? I hope you guys have a good night, and I'll let you be. Take it easy.